Hey everyone, welcome back to the Pokemon Casino. Today we're going over the prices of the most recent Japanese set 1 week after release, and that'd be Ancient Roar and Future Flash. Let's see which are the top cards and how they've been trading. Alright everyone, so let's get into this set. It was released over a week ago on Friday, so we're a few days late in terms of this price guide, price check video. But let's see how these boxes have been trading. There are two boxes or two sets as part of this release. We have the Ancient set, which is called Ancient Roar obviously, and Future Flash, which goes and focuses or highlights the future Paradox Pokemon from Scarlet and Violet. Let's start off with Ancient Roar. This one is with Roaring Moon, the SAR, and sort of seems to be very meta. That card, the SAR, the SR, and I believe there's the UR, has actually been probably trading really well. Let's see how well it has been trading, but in terms of booster boxes and what we're looking at, it's about, $60, $70 for if you're just buying the Ancient Roar booster box. Which, to be honest, as of this year and how we're looking at things and how other boxes have traded from the Scarlet and Violet base set to Triple Beat when it was first released and then Clayburst, etc., it's actually been pretty good. It's not too expensive at that price point, a bit reasonable in terms of just a booster box, but do the card prices actually reflect that as well? That's to be seen. But after Ancient Roar, how is Future Flash actually traded? You can see a few of these doubles boxes. So a lot of them are being sold in pairs for about like 120 around. So that's like our average is about $60 per booster box there. But let's look at Future Flash and see if it's given the equivalent price or perhaps if it's cheaper or more than Ancient Roar if buying on a single box basis. And if we're looking at one box, it's about the same price. You see one has sold recently for about $60. Ancient Roar actually above was only for $50, so that actually seems like a pretty good deal if you add those together, 110 but less than 120, because you can see some pairings as well, which have been approximately 120. So it seems to be about the right price for these boxes. So let's say it's about $60 each. Just a nice round number for this set. And I do believe prices have been falling a little bit as well from what I've seen from the Hong Kong market. We'll see if those price trends continue. Hopefully, I think this box set has really nice cards in it. Really done well with, I think it is 12 ARs per each. But before we dive into the single cards, remember you gotta do things to help me out, which is 1, click subscribe, click like, leave me a comment. Thank you so much for the support. But let's look at the individual card prices, starting with Future Flash. Actually, we're going to look into Ancient Roar first. In terms of the AR cards, there are 12 that I said look fantastic, and all of them aren't too expensive either. Just a couple of bucks each. So for collectors like me that want to collect them all, we want to open up a few packs, a few booster boxes, just because of it's enjoyable. I do enjoy it. It does cost some money, but I do like doing so. It's not financially responsible, of course, but being a Pokemon collector, I don't know when being financially responsible is part of the criteria. But here we go. We're looking at some of the prices off a major Japanese online store that has all of these cards listed. And you can see just a couple of bucks each one. The most expensive one is only 680 yen, so that's about $5. And that is for the Hangry Morpeko. And also for Screamtail. I believe that Screamtail is maybe playable. That's why it's a bit more expensive, but it's a gorgeous looking card as well. And then Morpeko obviously is a fan favorite, I would say. All the other ones are just a couple of bucks each. So definitely not too hard on the wallet, I would say, if you want to collect those. SAR's a bit of a different story, especially for Roaring Moon, that I think is a bit more expensive. So let's look at sort of some of the top cards from Ancient Roar. So first one, we're going to look at a waifu in Ancient Roar. This is Mela. This is the SR card, full art trainer. As you know, people love full art trainers for one reason or not, but it's been actually having a pretty interesting price trend. So it used to be the waifu card. I actually didn't know. Hopefully you guys have watched my opening on this box, the first one. I didn't even realize that Mela was actually so sought after, but you can see it's actually been dropping down. The blue line is basically gem minty cards, raw cards, and then the yellow line basically represents some flaws with the cards, scratches, etc., white dots on the back. So obviously a cheaper price than the blue gem minty ones. And so we've seen a downward trend for this card, and I don't think it's extremely playable, but it has been going down. I don't know what's up with this blip as of today, but it seems like it's gone up, but could be an anomaly, could be adjusted later when there's more data points in. But overall, has gone down, not by too much, by probably like what, like a 30-40%, I would say. So not too bad in terms of that price trend, going for approximately 3,000 yenish, just for a nice round number. So that's about like what, 25 US. It's definitely not too hard on the wallet. Next up, we got Golisopod over here, which is one of the SAR cards, water type, really dark. It looks like a scene out of RoboCop to me. For those that are a bit older, you may know that movie. Looks like that enemy robot. So this is one of the SARs of this set. There are 3 Pokemon SAR cards. This is the first one that we're going through. And let's look at how this has trended. And like all cards, as compared to release day, it is down. So the message is, don't buy it when it's the first week. Usually will go down. So it's going down from about 2,000 yen down to about 1,700. So 10-15%, not too bad. SARs are actually really hard to pull, guys. I don't know if you've ever experienced or opened up boxes, but they're not easy. So for an SAR at 1,700, not too bad. I probably want to get all of these ones because it's not too expensive. One's like Rule of the Black Flame where they have Charizard. I didn't pull it. Do I want it? Yes, but am I going to pay that much for that SAR card? Probably not. I probably want to collect other things. But this one has a pretty interesting price trend right now, with it going down. It's been going up and down a little bit, but I would predict that it would be going down a bit more just because it is Golisopod, Wimpod's evolution, and I don't think it's a fan favorite and not too playable in the TCG, I would presume. Next up, it is the other SAR card. The second one out of Ancient Roar, it is Sandy Shocks EX. An interesting artwork. Not a fan favorite for me anyways as a fan, maybe for you, but definitely want to pick it up, I think, because it's actually not too expensive. You can see it was about 1,500, 1,600 yen on the first day, so about like 10 to 12 bucks, I would say. And it's been going down, obviously a big dip off day one, and then it's been fluctuating a little bit around the 1,300 mark. So let's say $8 to $10 for that price for this card. Not expensive at all. Would love to have it part of the collection for that price. Hopefully I'll be able to find it for that. But let's look at the final SAR card, Pokemon SAR. And that one would be Roaring Moon. Absolutely great looking card. And my favorite part about it is that if you look at it, there are all these Pokemon in the background. And I love Pokemon where there's like cards where there's other Pokemon interactions in there. Roaring Moon obviously looking to be really big and mighty over here. Let's see how the prices have trended. And this one is very different from others. This one actually increased from the release day. Started off at 10,000 only, and it's gone up 80% to 18,000 yen and really hovering around that mark. The main reason for that is because of the playability of this card in the TCG. It seems to have really good stats or really good abilities, attacks, etc. So I think that's what's really fueling this card and why people are really going after it. If you're wondering what is sort of the attacks, it is an ancient type Pokemon, as I mentioned. It has an attack or ability called Frenzy Gouging, which is the first one. Knock out your opponent's active Pokemon. If your opponent's active Pokemon is knocked out in this way, the Pokemon does 200 damage to itself. So if it's at full HP, it will go down from 230 to 230. And then there's a second attack which takes 2 dark and 1 normal energy, Calamity Storm. You may discard a stadium in play. If you do, this attack does 120 more damage. So you can do 220 damage as well with this, which is pretty decent. So if you're doing 220 damage against a similar Roaring Moon, it brings it down to 10 HP. Weakness is 2 Leaf Energy. Retreat cost is 2 as well, and it costs 2 prize cards. So it seems like it's interesting. A lot of people are going to be using this in the deck. But let's look at the last SAR card or price trend in Ancient Roar before we move on to Future Flash. And that one is Mela SAR. I have this in my own personal collection. I was super fortunate and able to pick this one up myself. Check out that video if you have not already. Let's see how it has trended. And it's been very stable, I gotta say, especially for a waifu card that usually drops off a cliff. So it started off at 11,000 yen, so about $100 for this card, and it's been dipping below and it's been going up and all over the places, but always within that 10,000 to 11,000 yen mark, so $100 to $110. I think this is an interesting looking card. It's not my favorite waifu card, to be honest. I'm gonna probably look to trade it off for another card, and I'll tell you about that when we look at Future Flash, which one that might be. But it has been trending really nicely, I would think. It is the waifu card of this set, of the 2 sets, arguably. So it has been faring really well. As part of these sets, there are a lot more, I think you can say, player focus rather than collector focus, is from what I heard. A lot of playable cards, a lot of cards that you want to use to create decks, etc. Item cards, supporter cards, and Pokemon as well within here. But that's how sort of Roaring Moon has fared. Ancient Roar, I mean, Roaring Moon. Ancient Roar has fared. It seems to have some playable in there, but let's look at Future Flash now. And so we're looking at the first full art trainer card, Tulip, which can also be considered a SR or a waifu card for the Future Flash set. But let's see how Tulip has fared as compared to Mela. And the prices, you can see, it's sort of the same trend, right? It starts at 3,500 and it's been dropping, and then sort of plateauing at about 2,500, so about 20 bucks US, I would say, for a Gem Minty copy. Nothing to scream home about. I don't think there's anything too special about this one, other than that it is a female full art trainer waifu card. But let's look at Pokemon ones, and I think that are a lot more interesting. And then we have the first SAR, Iron Hands. On this one, you can see Iron Hands has been plowing through these walls with its hand, obviously, probably breaking down the bricks. This is a very cool card, very nice one. Not my favorite one, to be frank. We'll go into what that one is, and let's see how it's trended. And this is actually surprising to me. It has gone up from its release day price. It could be because it's playable. It hasn't actually gone up that much, less than 10%, I would say, but it started off about 3,300. It's about 3,500 right now as well for a Gem Mint copy. And so that's impressive. Most cards go down. It has been able to sort of withstand the test of time for 1 week. Not that long anyways. Let's see how it goes in the long run. But that's how it's been trending recently. Let's look at some other SAR cards of Paradox Pokemon. I think one of the really pretty SAR cards in this set, in both sets to be frank, Altaria EX with a bunch of Wingles in the background. Managed to pull this one myself. Not gonna. You should watch all of my opening videos on this one to see which one that's gonna be. But let's see how it's been trending. And it's been going up like a roller coaster. Check that out. From 3,700, dipped down to about 31, and then up to 40,000 something. Because it's so beautiful, I'm sure, and it's dipped down again and raising a little bit. So what a roller coaster ride. It's about at the same release day price, to be surprising, after these about 7+ days on a card. I think this one is a gorgeous card. I think people just want it in their collection because of how good it looks. I'm sure people are going to buy this and then send it off for grading and hopefully get PSA 10 to flip them, etc. I'm not going to do that. I want to keep mine in my binder along with the other ARs, SAR cards, but really beautiful Altaria. Well, let's go and look at the last Paradox Pokemon SAR card as part of this set. And this one is my favorite card, Iron Valiant. It has all of the other future Paradox Pokemon in the background as well, like Iron Moth, it is like Iron Santa Claus and Iron Dinosaur. Just really great looking cards. And this is the one I'm hoping to trade my Mela SAR for. I don't know if there's anyone going to be doing that. I think that let's see how the prices are and see if it's a fair trade. And so you know what? It's more than fair trade. So the ML SCR was 11,000. It's trading right now at 9,000. So I think it's a pretty decent for anyone that wants to do that. Hopefully find a collector in Hong Kong that does want to do that. But from 7,000, it's also gone up to 9,000. I think it is a bit more playable in the TCG, which is causing some demand for it from not just collectors, but also players. Just as a little flex, imagine if you have a set of these as part of your deck, you can sort of bring out to tournaments, competitions, etc. So I think that's why it's really inflating the price of it or helping it sort of be above release day. But I think that's 9,000 yen. It's a pretty fair price for this one, I think, just of how gorgeous looking it is. So like I said, looking to add all of these SCR cards to the collection. What I'm not looking to add is the last one, but let's see what that is. Last one is the Tulip SAR. So as compared to the Ancient Roar set that had Mela, let's see which one has been faring better or is more sought after in demand. And I think it's obvious. Look at that, as opposed to the Mela SCR, which sort of dropped and then went back up above its release day price. Tulip has just fallen from the release day from about 10,000 down to 7,000. So that just tells you, I think Ancient Roar is the set more in demand. So I would love to open up more of this set if I was financially irresponsible, but I have to be a bit financially responsible now. So probably we'll have to pick up some of the singles. Anyhow, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this video, got some information out of it. Remember to click subscribe and click like and leave me a comment on what you think about these prices. Where do you think these cards will trend? Which one is your favorite and what are you picking up? If you're going to be opening up packs, I wish you fantastic RNG. Until the next video, bye-bye.